Hi, I'm Phil Graves, and this is my wife, Christy, and I serve as pastor at First Baptist Church of Brunswick. And about 6 years ago, we felt led by God to start the process of international adoption. We had talked about adopting a child since we got married, and in 2015, Christy came to me and said, if we're going to adopt, now is the time to do it because we're not getting any younger. And so we have some friends who had adopted some kids from Ukraine who had Down syndrome, and we started looking on a website called Reese's Rainbow. And Christy found a girl that she thought would make a perfect addition to our family, and so we began the process. It took 16 months, and there were a lot of ups and downs, but we finally adopted a little girl named Eliana from Armenia, and she has brought a whole bunch of joy and happiness to our life, and a whole lot of sass. She has spina bifida, and we knew that going in, and before we decided to make the plunge to adopt her, we contacted a friend who has a son with spina bifida and spent about an hour and a half on the phone with her, just going over what it means to have a child with that diagnosis who will be in a wheelchair full time, and she really made us feel comfortable. When we got home with Eliana, we had to go to a whole lot of doctor's appointments and a whole lot of surgery, and it just became the new normal. And those fears that we had going in just became a new part of our, the fears didn't become a part of our life, but the just doctor's appointments and therapies and ordering wheelchairs and standers and medical supplies just became part of our new normal everyday life. Christy, can you talk a little bit about just the things that we do to help Eliana?
So every day, Eliana has to be straight capped. So 4 times a day. She has PT, which
what is straight cathing?
It's the cathing that empties out her bladder because her body is unable to do that on her own. She also gets physical therapy and occupational therapy once to twice a week, usually twice a week for occupational therapy. We try to get physical therapy twice a week, but she's pretty tired after a week of school. She's been through behavioral therapy. She has ADHD along with other things, so we've gotten her on the proper medicine so she can learn from being more focused, and she's really picked up a lot this year. She's able to read more, and she's doing a lot better in school since we started the medicine. And she's a bit feisty, doesn't like to eat, so we hesitated on putting her on the stimulant for her ADHD, and it's been a challenge. But we're also doing some feeding therapy with her as well and trying to expand her horizons, and it's been quite a ride, but we wouldn't trade it for anything.
When we got her home, we took her, after the initial process of getting her home, we enrolled her in our local public school, and they've been very, very helpful in getting her the in-school therapies, developing the IEP program for her, accommodating her special needs. My biggest fear was that she would be made fun of or shunned for being in a wheelchair, and the absolute opposite has happened. They treat her like she's a rock star. She rolls down the highways and everyone's like, Eliana, Eliana. We can be out in public and we'll hear kids from across the way yell, Eliana, I know her from school. And they want to come over and talk to her. And I think that's been a really good shift in at least our community, if not our country, with more acceptance of kids with special needs. And she knows her legs don't work, and she knows that she's adopted. And I think you can have a really healthy, positive relationship with kids. And if you just talk to them about their special needs, and it doesn't make them different, it's just how God made them, and that they can use that for God's glory. Then we thought we were done adopting kids. Christy came to me and said, I think God is calling us to adopt another child. And she will admit that she wanted me to say no and that she was crazy. But God had spoken to me and told me that if He opened a door, I should walk through it. And so I agreed to that. It was in January of 2021 that God spoke to us about adopting another special needs child. And so again, we went to Reese's Rainbow, and again, well, it was Christy that went to Reese's Rainbow, and she found another child, and actually two girls, and we looked at them both and decided that a little girl named Bridget was the one that God was speaking to us about. And so we began the process. We are working to bring her home. As of today, when we're filming this, she is still in an orphanage in Ukraine. We're trying to work with our adoption service provider and the U.S. government and whoever else will help us to figure out how to get her home. But she was born at 25 weeks. She has cerebral palsy and clubbed feet and some issues with her vision. But we got to go meet her in December of 2021, and she's a precious, precious little girl who turned 6 on February 19th. And we're excited to bring her home and make her a part of our family and just figure out what our new normal is with her. Our biggest goal, I think, is helping people understand that all kids deserve to be loved, all kids deserve a family, and that there's really nothing to fear about kids with special needs. Once you adopt and adapt to their special needs, it just becomes part of your everyday life and you don't even really think much about it. Christy, do you want to say anything about Bridget?
Really hopeful we can get her home soon. She's just in quite a predicament with the war going on. She's really a precious angel, and we're so very thankful to still have communication through a friend of hers and ours in Ukraine. But like Phil said, special needs makes it sound so scary and so daunting, but really what these kids need more than anything is just your love and your acceptance. And I know as a parent of typical children, I remember this expectation that we put on our children when they're young, and they got to meet this milestone and that milestone. But having Eliana helped me realize that God made them wonderful whether they meet that milestone or not. And they have beauty and worth and everything. They might not be the brain surgeon or whatever, but God made them special and they bring so much joy. And this little girl has a lot of joy to bring to our family, and we just can't wait to get her home. And we're very thankful for Eliana, and sometimes she's a challenge, but I know all that spunk and all that sass is going to get her far. She's definitely going to be a girl boss.
Yeah. So Christy and I, after we got married, had 3 biological children. We have Kara, who is a senior in high school. We have Ethan, who's a sophomore in high school, and Owen, who is in 6th grade. And Eliana is in 1st grade, and we're excited to bring Bridget home to be a part of our family. Thank you, and enjoy the conference, and we'll be hoping to see you and talk to you soon.